voice a little bit higher here on Overgrow the Radio. I think that's our job, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I've got a bad back, so if I don't medicate before the show, well, at least that's my excuse, How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm doing well. Just
Very
enjoying just a relaxing evening here in the studio.
Absolutely. It's always a good atmosphere here at iCannabis Radio, don't you think?
I do. I enjoy the pinball machines that we have here and haven't really got to delve into that yet, so I'm excited to go get my name on the board.
I feel a little tournament coming on. So Holly is actually officially our new co-host. We want to welcome her with like a big Overgrow the Radio bowl or something. Welcome.
Yay, thank you. I'm excited.
I just said you were the co-host of my other organization because we're going to talk about them in a minute. We were just out in D.C. on Monday with Moms for Marijuana. We're going to call Rebecca Forbes in a little bit. She was kind of my right hand since I didn't make it out this time. I think everything went smoothly, which we're going to talk about D.C. a little bit tonight in our news, and then again with Rebecca. And we're also going to talk to Holly. Holly's going to tell us her story a little bit of why she's an activist, where she comes from. She's got a little experience in radio. She intimidates me a little bit since she doubles my experience in radio. So we'll jump in and get the boring news out of the way. Another story we're going to talk about later in the show is the Americans for Safe Access finally got their hearing at the Court of Appeals in D.C. this week on Tuesday. ASA, I believe this was the third time that they'd filed. Third time's the charm, right? And the first time they put it off for a decade and then denied it. And the second time, the first time it was 2 decades. The second time they put it off for another decade, and the same thing happened again. They denied it. And finally, they appealed it, and now the Court of Appeals has heard it. We will see what happens. As their attorney pointed out during the hearing, that if the court doesn't step in and do something in this matter, it's just going to be a revolving door, and we're just going to keep wasting money on the same process. The federal government at this point, they look like idiots because we all know cannabis has medicinal value.
For sure.
They have patents that says it has medicinal value, yet they have laws that contradict their very own patents. So, that's an issue I could rant on for hours. I don't know about you.
Definitely.
The feds and I, we don't always see eye to eye, as anyone who knows me or listens or has been to any of our protests knows.
We hope to convert them.
We're trying every night. So we'll just give people a spoiler for next week on that note. We're going to focus our whole show primarily next week on Amendment 64. I know we've talked about it. It'll probably come up tonight. But it's approaching, and let's face it, folks, it's history. It's a chance for Colorado to do something that no one has ever done. Not to get too crazy on it, but, as long as we can stay together and not let this infighting get too out of hand, I think we've got it. Despite our little 3% drop. What do you think?
I have faith that the people of Colorado will realize what they're doing, and I think that people have the right to cannabis, whether they have a medical disability and need it medically, or they just have a headache after they get home from work and want to enjoy a joint when they get home from work. It's just like having a glass of wine, so that's why regulating it like alcohol is definitely the way to go.
So our first guest next week, one of his famous quotes that he said, Tom Gorman, he's been a drug warrior for years and years and years. We were supposed to have, as anyone who listened last week knows, the Denver DA, Mitch Morrissey, was supposed to come on. I shook his hand, he confirmed, and I scheduled him. And then they politely declined later in the day. We won't hold it against him. We'll move on and hope that someday he wants to come in and chat with us. Sheriff Grayson was also very cordial. I'll give him kudos. He had a prior commitment, and I respect that. But in his place, he's sending Tom Gorman. And Tom is absolutely anti-cannabis, anti-any drug. I don't know about pharmaceuticals. That'd be a good question.
Or alcohol.
But he has made, you just hit on a key note to bring him in. He has made the comment or made his opinion known that he doesn't feel that you can just go home after work and have that couple puffs and just relax. He thinks that everyone that uses cannabis uses it just to get shit-faced. Just ridiculous. I've never been really quote unquote shit-faced on cannabis. I don't know about you.
Well, maybe with stronger concentrates, I've been pretty intoxicated, but just like bringing it back, just like with alcohol, you have to know your limits, and you have to know when you can't do certain things, or when you shouldn't drive, or just it's the same thing.
What I like to talk about there is there's people who shouldn't drive on aspirin. There's people who drink water who shouldn't drive. And let's face it, there's just people who shouldn't drive. I mean,
oh, definitely.
I'm on the roads almost every day, and I'm pretty sure some of the sober drivers out there are worse than some of the drunks. I really am. So let's stick on the feds for a second, because Sam tells me we got to fly through news tonight. There was a Texas woman jailed, I believe, this week, and what she did is a little disturbing to me personally. She basically took a picture of a narc, or actually pulled it from his Facebook, and then put it on her Facebook page. And, just with a heading, this guy's an undercover cop, do you know him? That's all, no threats, no nothing. Well, she's sitting in jail now. And, number one, the biggest thing there is that's First Amendment right. Anytime... Well, to digress, it was reinforced last fall during the Occupy movement. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that anytime a public official is on public land, they can be photographed and or videoed. So I'm not sure how they justified this ruling.
Well, I know that they a lot of times try to stick it to that you're too close to the situation, or or you're interfering. But I know that I've done the Cop Watch course that Denver does, and I think it's somewhat of like 10 to 15 feet, and they can ask you to scoot back, but you can still take their photo or their video.
Well, and that's the disturbing thing, is this was a Facebook photo. So this was this guy, obviously he was public enough to put a picture on Facebook, right? So, I mean, that's kind of, once you put your pictures on Facebook, I think Facebook actually has the right to use them, and they're quote-unquote public. So, for me, that's a disturbing point. And then, of course, the First Amendment thing, and then the Supreme Court ruling. And it hits a personal note, because a few months ago during Bob Krause's trial, which is unfortunately still going on, I played some games where I'd ride the elevator down with the DAs and educate them about cannabis. And one of the undercovers that testified, I went to take his photo in the hallway and was blocked by one of the DAs. She literally ran out of the courtroom and shoved my camera into my face. The guy ran from me, the cop, so I politely followed him to the elevator, and it was so great. He did the superhero move and jumped back out of the elevator when he saw me around the corner, and he's like, "Don't do it, dude, don't do it." I'm like, "Do what? I'm press. I'm taking your photo." So it's out there. They're scared to death of that. The thing of it is they're public servants. If they think their face and their name isn't going to be out there, that's just absurd. I mean, I understand the fear factor. Oh, we're going to get killed by cartels. Well, here's an idea. Why don't we end the drug war? Then nobody has to worry about it.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, so I left that situation and was approached by an attorney friend who also sat in on the trial, and he was approached by the DA's office, and apparently, who knows, maybe they still are. I really don't give a shit, to be honest. We're trying to press harassment charges on me for, number one, talking to the police, and I guess trying to snap a photo of one of their narcs. So I really hope this is overturned. I hope this lady gets out of prison. Granted, it is Texas, and Texas is a scary place in a lot of ways. But either way, this lady does not deserve to be sitting in a jail cell for posting a public photo. That's absurd.
Definitely not.
Anyway, so I think we're gonna take a break here real quick. When we come back, we may hit on a little bit more news. There's not a ton going on this week, and as I mentioned, we're gonna have a first-hand account later in the show of the ASA hearing on Tuesday. So stick with us, and we're gonna come back and talk to Miss Holly G.
Woohoo!
Peace.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
The law offices of Vets and Maiden and Mats provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
It's all jazzy here at iCannabis Radio. I think Sam made this one from his cell phone.
Nice.
Very innovative, right?
Yes.
So, Holly, well, we'll wait a second. We'll dance for a minute. All right. So, as I welcomed you, I didn't give you really a proper welcome, but it's going to be great to have you aboard. I admire, I've said time and time again, we actually kind of had this conversation on the phone yesterday, that ladies in this movement inspire me. Really, ladies in any movement. I've said many times, when you get a group of ladies together, my other half does We Are Women Colorado. When I watch them get together and do a protest, there's so much power. There's something about the female persona that us males lack, and maybe it's passion or something along those lines. But I'm excited to have you because you've been doing this for a while, huh?
A little while, yeah. I went to school for music, so it's been in my blood for a while.
Nice. As far as activism, tell me when you fell in love with cannabis. When did you decide that it was something you needed to fight for?
Well, I was diagnosed with severe scoliosis when I was a kid. You know, when they have you come in and you do the lean over test and they, look at your back and see if it looks straight. So I was diagnosed, and I was probably about 12 or 13, and just started having pain a couple years after that, and they started giving me prescription medication for Vicodin, and I was
At
only
what age?
Like 13, and didn't know any different. I lived in Texas at the time, and so I just took them twice a day, always. I even had a recovery. I had a couple weeks off of school just to get used to the Vicodin, and that was okay with my doctor and my family at the time, which is crazy to me that you would let your kid take a strong prescription medication like that. But I took it all the way up until I moved here in 2005, and right after I moved here, I had already smoked cannabis before recreationally, of course, as a kid. I didn't really think about it. I did, yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't think about using it for medical reasons, but I liked how it made me feel.
And you progressed okay? You're still able to function and hold a job and all that stuff?
Most days.
Wow, that's amazing.
I try.
So you hit on a point that I talk about a lot. I'm pretty good friends with the Hyde's, Cashy Hyde's parents. He's battling cancer again. And at this point, a lot of kids who are using cannabis oil and or cannabis, friends with their parents, and them too. I love kids. Kids are great. I'm a parent. And it's funny because back in the 80s, it was, and it still is. I mean, it's even worse now. It's socially acceptable to give your kids poison. I mean, I say the 80s and really 90s because there was a surge in like Ritalin and all of that for ADD. I think a lot of parents nowadays steer away from that a little bit more. They're not going to the alternative like they should and give their kids a low THC cannabis strain.
They're just not educated yet.
Exactly. You know, there's people like Paige Figge. She was on a few weeks ago. She's one of the realm patients, as I am myself. I'm just a little different. Well, in many ways. Yeah, that's a loaded statement, right? Paulie's like all grinning. I could say so much. You're freaking weird. But anyway, yeah, Paige, I mean, she's a typical example of someone who, you know, just didn't know a lot about cannabis. And what she did know was the stereotypes and everything that we were taught as kids, you know?
Right.
I mean, growing up in the Midwest, man, it was like doing cocaine if you smoked a joint.
Yeah, I mean, if the doctor says it's okay, it must be okay, right?
Right. I mean, well, and I think that's, you know, fortunately, we're taking a turn a little bit more and more towards that. And we're lucky because we're in a state that is taking that turn. I mean, granted, if we were in like Louisiana, this conversation wouldn't be the same. So.
Right. And well, being from Texas, I see that a lot. My family is definitely more open-minded now that they've seen me go through it and see me go through a lot of pain and, you know, just live constantly with chronic pain and nobody knowing what to do, just give me more pain medicine. And coming to Colorado, and within a week of coming to Colorado, finding out about, this was in 2005, finding out about the THC Foundation. There was only 2 or 3 doctors in Colorado signing recommendations at that time. So I went there almost immediately with the records I had, which easily got me my card. Just finally got access to real medicine.
Well, that's my question. Is that's amazing to me that you were really one of the original patients here. What was the process? How hard was it to get quality meds? I mean, were there plenty of caregivers at the time?
Well, I didn't know anybody at that time because it was less than a week when I had just gotten off the bus. I didn't even have a car. I bused it to the THC Foundation at where they were located before, and
nice.
That day found they had a little table of cards. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 dispensaries at that time, and there was some private caregivers too, but I just went to the dispensary right after, because at that time you didn't have to wait to get your card. You could get it with the doctor's signature, because really at that time the card was just a formality. You didn't actually had to have it, because you could just have a doctor's recommendation and it would be legal in court. Now they're a lot stricter about it, but so I went straight to the dispensary, and they it was really good meds. I mean, I didn't know much different. I hadn't seen many other growers at the time in Colorado, so it was good for me.
Well, we got to have Bob Kraus back on, because his case was just monumental in that aspect, where his red card was expired and he had like 50 plants, had a 75 plant count. And we set a precedent in saying the jury acquitted all charges, and the judge, you know, he's having issues right now, which I'm hoping to find out in the next week what's going on with it, where they're not returning his meds. They've refused to.
Right.
But, you know, that I think there is a mentality among law enforcement that you have to have a red card or you're not legal. And that's crap. We still have Amendment 20 that says, yes, they can take you to jail, but when you go to court, if you're a sick person with a doctor's recommendation, we have that fallback here. We are so lucky to have that.
Right.
That you can go into court and say, well, here's my doctor's note, and I need to grow these plants because I make edibles, or I make concentrates, or I make Phoenix tears.
Right.
So,
yeah, and there's one of the first big medical marijuana cases in Colorado was in Larimer County. And it was the Masters medical marijuana case, and that's a perfect example. They didn't have their card, but they had doctor's recommendations. They also had records from patients that they grew for in their grow, just to, you know, show that they were legitimate. And their kids went to school and said, "Mommy has plants in the basement." So they sent cops and Child Protective Services over to their house, and they were really friendly people and didn't think they were doing anything wrong. So they let the person come in. And so they got arrested. They took their kids, and it was a long, long case. But they did finally end up dropping the case after taking their kids for 2 or 3 months. They completely dropped the whole thing, and I went with them like a year and a half later they finally got their stuff back.
Nice.
And it was all broken trash. They had put all their plants in Ziploc baggies and zipped it up, so they were all molded.
Yeah, I mean, at
So-
that point, really, and it's a shame, but we see that in this case, especially, case law never really applies from district to district, because there's also a case, I believe, out of Larimer, maybe not, but somewhere out that way, that says that they have to keep the plants alive during the
Yes.
investigation.
Well, that was one of the things during the case.
Yeah, that they brought that up in Bob's case as well, and the thing of it is that that's what they do. If they can prolong it, then they're giving you back trash. Let's face it, that medicine isn't usable.
They would have to have a grow room or a greenhouse for it with lights and someone who knows how to take care of it. So then the government's just growing weed, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And again, there's an easy solution to that. We could end the drug war.
That would be the best thing to do. This would be the smart way to go for all the government officials, because they didn't actually. I know that in that specific case, they did go back and try to sue the county for the money that they lost, because they lost a lot of time, money, and their kids and everything. So it was just, I mean, they didn't give them any money. They just said, sorry, you won the case. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, I think now there's what they're shooting for. There is a set amount now per plant that you can sue for in Colorado. And forgive me for being ignorant and not knowing where that came about. I don't know if it was 1284 or where. But I know Bob, worst case scenario, will go back and sue. I would too. You're losing a lot of money and a lot of effort, just in man hours the money you're losing,
Yeah, and all the struggle and times you have to go to the courthouse and drive your car.
And if you're a cancer patient, you're going without medicine.
Right.
Like he lost how many pounds of processed cannabis that he was getting ready to make oil with, like 4 or 5, so there's his oil for a month or 2.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a sad
It's a struggle.
thing. So back to you. We got all sidetracked. A lot of my friends that I've known over the years have suffered from scoliosis, and I hear it can be very, very painful. Did the pills that they threw you on, I've been there, we'll talk about that later. These viewers already know that story.
Right.
But the pills are crap. We both know that, I'm sure. And
I mean,
did you get relief from pills?
Well, it did help me not think about it, because it definitely does a lot to your brain. But I would have severe, severe stomach pains and not know where it was coming from. And I went to the hospital. I did everything to try to figure what it was out, and they couldn't name it. So I started smoking. The guy that I was dating at the time was not a smoker at all, but he would actually load bowls for me. This was in Texas, when I would have severe stomach aches, and bring it to me, and I would hit it a couple times, and I would
Life
have
was
relief.
good.
Yeah. So that was actually like the first time. I was around 18 or 19 that I realized I could use it medically. And then it wasn't until I came here that I realized, hey, I can actually use it in replacement of my pills, because I was just taking muscle relaxers and pain pills.
Well, and what I
relief.
found, I still take a little bit of pain medication each day. This last week's been horrible. It's been a little more. But what I found is once you move here as a patient, and I'm going to lead you in to see if this was the same for you, it takes a while to find what works for you, like what strain.
Totally.
Like with me, with my pain, I have to use concentrates. I use flour, but I also have to add concentrates, or it's nothing. I can use flour all day with no relief. Well, a little relief, but
It's just not strong enough for you.
Yeah, did it take you a while to work into what worked? And
Well, I like a lot of different strains, and with the chronic pain, really it's mostly on the indica side. There's definitely some indicas that I don't like, but a lot of them work for me. I just always go back to the same handful of
lady
ones.
after my own heart.
Yeah.
Indica guy.
Woo. But I do use sativas during the day, because I'm a super active person that always has things going on, so I have to be awake, and I consider myself pretty productive on sativas, so but I still get a little bit of relief, even though it doesn't always completely go away, but that's just something you deal with chronic pain.
Yeah, I can go like a 50-50 during the day, but a lot of people tease me about how I stay awake and consume so much indica.
Well, it's hard to find a good 100% sativa just because a lot of growers don't even want to do it, and if they do it, it's their personal stash.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we have to pay some bills real quick, but when we come back, I think we'll talk about why Holly makes me all intimidated and shit when I'm on the radio with her. So stick with us here on Overgrow the Radio.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
We Grow Colorado, the premier medical marijuana dispensary in Colorado Springs, is proud to be a part of the medical marijuana community. We Grow Colorado works hard to make every patient feel comfortable and informed. With a great selection of medical cannabis in multiple forms, the patient finds many premium choices to aid in their self-treatment. The staff at We Grow Colorado is another large part of what makes We Grow Colorado the #1 choice for many patients throughout the state. Visit them today at 2502 East Bijou Street in Colorado Springs for an experience that will last and last.
The law offices of Edson, Maiden, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188, or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
Always be kind to each other.
Good job, Sam, at bringing us back in. We're here on Overgrow the Radio on iCannabisRadio.com. Real quick, I want to give a plug to our other shows here. If you're not already listening to them, you're missing out. On Monday night was our original guest tonight, Mrs. Edson, Georgia. She does Monday Night with Georgia, and we'll reschedule her. She had a babysitting commitment with her little one. And Tuesday night, we have Sexpot Radio. I'm sorry, I did that backwards. We have American Weed Realm Radio first from 6:30 to 8 with the Stanley Brothers from National Geographic's American Weed. And after that, Miss Jenny Cush comes in and does Sexpot Radio. And, well, it's sex and pot. They tie each other up and talk some pretty weird stuff. Well, whatever. Anyway, I'll move on before I blush. Wednesdays is IDAB Radio. I think they're going to be coming back next week, I believe, to do a Halloween show, and then they're going to have an announcement for their listeners. Thursday is the greatest day on iCannabis Radio. First, we have the Hemp Connoisseur magazine. They are doing a show, the Hemp Connoisseur Radio. And then, of course, Miss Holly G and myself come in and do Overgrow the Radio from 7 to 9. So stay tuned. We'll have like one or two more shows, hopefully in the next month, as soon as I get busy and do something. So jumping back in with our wonderful new co-host, I mentioned before the break that I'm a little intimidated by her, and I didn't find this out, I don't think, until after last week's show. She'd been in radio for a while. You'd done a little radio, huh?
Yeah, I've worked in radio in some way or form since I was 18. Just I've done internships, and I'm a big supporter and volunteer of our Colorado Community Radio, KGNU, which plays a lot of local. Yes, we love them. And I also have experience on another cannabis-themed radio show that was internet-based that I did for a couple of years, and that was fun. But
it was probably a great show until you left.
Well, everything changes with, the environment and who's involved, for sure.
I do, all too well. People don't like me. They leave all the time. We can't keep anybody around here. I'm a horrible station manager.
No, this place is fun. I'm enjoying my second show here.
Nice. Yeah, so hopefully many more. So surely that's not what got you. We kind of jumped ahead a little. You suffered, I think we share a common thing there in that, I found cannabis because of pain too.
Right.
Pain sucks. When you live with pain all the time, it sucks. People don't realize that, but it makes life challenging. So for me, finding cannabis really sparked my passion as I'm leading you in.
Oh, definitely.
Is that, you started using it, you said 18, 19. When did you become active and start promoting it and spreading the good word, if you will?
Well, when I started using it for my stomach aches because I was on Vicodins that hurt my stomach, I actually started watching things about Amsterdam on cable TV and just finding out about the culture, and then realizing that it was a harmless plant just in personal experiences with smoking it and then getting the stomach relief. And then when I came to Colorado, and that second day I was here, I looked in a Westword, I saw an ad for the THC Foundation. That's pretty much what sparked it. I got my card really quick, and it was less than 1,000 patients at that time. And it was just a really small community, so we all knew each other, and the events that we had, everybody came to, and you knew all the growers that were at least open about being a medical grower. And so I started going to just a bunch of activist type events, like standing on the Capitol steps and smoking a joint and saying "ha-ha,"
Did you get to hang out with the legendary King Gorman?
I met him a few times before the incident happened, but I definitely helped carry on his dream with the 420 rally. I started getting involved with helping coordinate the 420 rally in 2008. I delved all the way into that one and helped organize the music and the speakers, and I even spoke on stage to help guide the show, and that was really interesting for me because that was the first ever permitted Denver 420 rally in 2008. So we actually got a permit for it, and the city allowed it, and they worked with us. We got barricades, and the police actually didn't even come in the barricades. Anybody who got a ticket, I think there was only 2 or 3 given, and it was outside the barricades for kids who probably were being stupid.
Well, I always heard the rule, like at the King Gorman get-togethers or the 420 events, is smoke all you want while you're there, but get rid of everything before you leave the police circle. Cause
it's
that's
the
when
power
they
of
tag you.
numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And don't leave alone. Leave with buddies. Lots of buddies.
Right, and just, maybe if you're in a protest or stand-in, like if we're like they did in the 70s type situation, or if you've ever been to Boulder, they don't do a stage type event. It's just a gathering of people, and you just join together and smoke and protest. But they do walk around in Boulder and tell you to put it down, but they don't take anything from you.
Sure.
But when you leave, that is true. You have a lot more of a risk.
Well, and I've touched on it before. It's pretty lax here in Denver. I've been to 100 events at this point where I've stood outside with everyone else medicating, and the cops just walk right by.
Right.
Or sometimes they might stand there and scowl at you, but there's, whatever. Worst case they can do is give you $100 ticket anyway.
Right. It's decriminalized and hopefully legalized here in November.
Yes, ma'am. Very soon. Very soon. A couple weeks to go.
Definitely.
I just hope after it's over, my friends are my friends again.
Right.
That's all I want. I don't know what I've done in the last few weeks, but I've been threatened with lawsuits. I've been told to fuck off.
That's politics. That's why, some people and some family members you just can't talk politics with.
Yeah. Oh, no. These are friends. These are advocates that we've stood shoulder to shoulder with. So, I've said it before, but when we have a difference of opinion, I hope we can all at the end come back together because we have a lot of work to do once this is passed.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So we've got, like, I don't know, a few more minutes here real quick. You worked, to organize these things. Is there any... I'm gonna bait you for this, so I was trying to think of how to word it properly. So you've got experience with these huge rallies. And as you know, our next guest is a board member of mine. And for 420, we go to D.C. and we do usually a big rally. D.C.
Right.
sucks. It's hard to get people out there. But do you have any interest in helping plan future rallies?
Oh, definitely. I've actually... I live up in the mountains, and I try to come down to the city and stand up for my rights as much as I can, whether it be in Boulder and D.C. and Texas. Every time I go visit Texas, I go to their Texas Normal. They're actually a really awesome group of people that are doing really good things down there and changing the way people think down there more than we know.
And that's not easy.
No, definitely not. So it's... wherever you are, however conservative it is, who cares? Just stand up and say what you have to say. It's a risk, but at least somebody's going to hear you, and you could change someone's mind, even if it's one person. That one person could change two other people's mind and way of thinking, and then those two people will change two more, so we already have 8 people, and just keeps going.
I understand being a closet activist. I was for a long time, almost 2 decades, and I would have those. You're dead on right there. You've still got to have those conversations with people in your life, people you meet on the streets. You don't have to go do a radio show, or you don't have to start protests in D.C. to make a difference. I think what people don't realize is you can send emails, you can talk to people, you can donate money to people. You can do whatever you can without actually being public, and it does so much for the movement that you just really don't understand. There is a story real quick. We're going to go to break. Again, though, welcome. I'm super excited. I think we're going to have some good times. I
think so. And
I think, again, you bring a lot to the table. I look forward to your... addition to our show and our family. Before we go to break real quick and bring in our next guest, there's a story I want to hit on real quick. There is a guy that I've been chatting with via email and on the phone yesterday out in D.C., and he's a diplomat. He's a Canadian. Well, he posted it on chat, so I guess it's okay to say he's a Canadian diplomat. He was stopped in a park. He was smoking a joint and didn't realize he was close to the Pentagon, so it was Pentagon police that came swarming up on him. He, in a couple of ways, got screwed by the police in D.C., as a lot of my listeners know I have been too, so I wanted to talk about this. Number one, they can't search a diplomat. So not only can they not search a diplomat, this young man also refused the search, which is completely legal under the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And apparently the police, didn't give him the option or didn't explain to him why they wanted to search his car. The cop's like, well, I have 7 other cops here. You got to let me search your car. And then just basically went into his car and pulled a bong from under his seat and 2 grams of cannabis. Big drug bust, right? So they kept this poor kid here for like 7-8 hours. And now, we can't... really, he can't really fight it publicly. He can't come on the show publicly and talk about it because this is threatening this young man's livelihood. He's may not be able to attend school here in the States. He could lose his diplomacy. I mean, it has so many negative effects, and that's just one story of millions that we deal with every day in this stupid war on some drugs. So when we come back, we're going to continue on that theme with DC and talk to Rebecca Forbes, who is, God, she wears so many hats, I'm not even going to go there. But she's also my board member. She was out there as my liaison on Monday for Overgrow Moms. So we'll see what happened out there, and then I think she stuck around for the hearings. So we'll be right back. Stick with us here on Overgrow the Radio. Peace.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first Cannabis Championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Dixie Elixirs, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment, brings you Dixie Botanicals all-natural topical therapy, including massage oil, pain relief salve, and our newest product, Dixie Botanicals Pain Relief Lotion. This all-natural lotion pairs beautifully with Dixie Botanicals bath salt for a deeply relaxing experience with no psychotropic effect. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana.
Hello.
Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements,
Hello.
your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there.
Hey, hold
our
on one
experience
sec.
in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706. Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
I think we're back, and hello, Rebecca. I'm sorry, I
Hi,
forgot to
Jason.
tell you I was going to call you during a commercial and let you wonder what we were doing. So first I want to, I'm sorry, you're here with myself and my new co-host, Holly G.
Hello.
If I ever
Hi,
forget...
Holly.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. I was listening to your story. Wow.
Thanks. It's good to have you on.
If I ever forget you, Holly, just reach over and smack me or kick me. It's all good. It's all fair.
He tolerates women pretty well.
I must. My whole life I work with a lot of ladies. You were listening. You heard me give the female race props.
Oh, yes.
There's definitely things that the male race lacks that you guys pick up for, the slack for. And we appreciate that, whether we choose to admit it or not. So,
well, Overgrow joining with Moms for Marijuana on this DC event was just epic.
And who we talked to
I'm really
last week.
glad that we're working together. There's some great things on the horizon, I think, for Moms for Marijuana. I actually met with Cheryl Schumann after the federal hearing. So I don't know where you want me to start, but it was just an awesome couple of days in D.C.
I think you're starting well. I mean, let's start with the protest. I know the weather hampered the crowd a little bit, and you and I both know that getting a crowd out in D.C. is like pulling teeth anyway.
Well, let me tell you something. Us cannabis warriors are some tough cookies because we braved the on and off rain that day. We had to fold the quilt up a couple of times. The rain was coming down, but we unveiled the cannabis quilt to the nation right at the base of the Washington Monument on the lawn. It's absolutely beautiful. The patches that people put the love and attention into spoke for themselves. I have several videos on my personal Facebook page, Rebecca Forbes, if you want to see the unveiling of the quilt or grab them to put up on your site. There's a ton of photos. There were so many great people there that came and spoke. A few, just to mention, was the MPP. Mr. Fox came out. I think you know him.
I do. I love Morgan. I consider him a brother at this point. A
Yeah,
brother in
and,
the movement, if you will.
Becca Hollingsworth from Michigan, who was LB Musica's escort, came and spoke.
Nice.
And she runs a dispensary in Michigan and a testing lab. She's awesome. I also met Matthew John Hammett, who's pretty involved in following us. He didn't speak. And then another, Ron Norton was there from Maine Green Cross that did the Science versus Stigma movie.
Sure.
Yeah, and he spoke, and all the Moms for Marijuana women. The women are really a powerful force in this. I truly believe that. But one of the highlights of the trip was the federal hearings, and I actually didn't try to go in to give space to some more of the more important people there. It was an 80-seat courtroom, but I was fortunate enough to meet with Ms. Cheryl Schumann after the hearing, and she's the optometrist to the stars.
Sure.
And I think that she's going to start helping with some media for us. And also something great to happen is she filmed me a little short interview for her upcoming grassroots TV show.
Nice. Yeah, I know her.
So
and
that
I
was
have
nice.
been. We've been playing, as I mentioned, we've been playing phone tag recently.
She's an awesome woman.
I'm going to get her on the show at some point and chat with her. She does a lot of great work. I just saw a news clip of her and our buddy, Magic, but Henry Hemp. His wife was on TV with her a couple weeks ago. I saw a YouTube clip of it, and it was great. You know, they present themselves as very professional women and show that cannabis is not an evil thing like people say it is.
Well, Moms for Marijuana is growing by leaps and bounds, and I know that Cheryl has noticed that, and I think she's going to put some of her experience and attention into helping the group grow.
Awesome.
And I think the women are going to be a large force in this movement.
I would agree.
Changing things.
Well, and bottom line, we've only got a few minutes, and I apologize, Rebecca.
Oh, that's okay.
Went crazy with booking the show tonight, and that's the main point that I've made this evening is really, in my opinion, it's going to take women and religious groups to end this. I think it's happening slowly. It's the same as alcohol prohibition. When you look to groups in society that can change people's minds and that people listen to, you look to churches and you look to their mothers. Let's just face it, it's in our genetics. When your mom tells you something, it's law. When your pastor, if you're a religious person, if your pastor tells you something, same thing, it's law. There's not many other people you can say that about. We know it's not true for politicians. No one believes them anymore.
Well, I just want to give a special shout out to Candace Duncan and Dana Arvidsson for the beautiful job they did in organizing the event and getting the quilt there. I know it cost over $400 just to get it there. It weighed over 70 pounds. It was huge. And then I do want to short say that we are starting a unity quilt. And on that unity quilt are organizations involved in cannabis reform, like the radio stations or dispensaries or individual patients. You can make a patch. And we really want to see that unity quilt get big because I think that's the Overgrow anthem, is that we want to see some unity in the movement and move forward.
Well, I think as soon as I find someone who can sew, you can count us in for an Overgrow the Radio and iCannabis Radio and absolutely an Overgrow the Government patch. So now I just have to find someone to make 3 patches for me.
I'm sure you can find somebody in Colorado. There's some artsy people out there. So.
Absolutely.
Surely.
We're not all a bunch of dirty hippies. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we're quickly running out of time. I want to give you a huge on-air thanks for this year and last year being there in the fall without me. I know we took a back seat, but it's still a lot of work. Sounds like everything went smoothly. It sounds like no one got searched or harassed this time.
No.
Maybe if I stay away, they don't do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll just stay away.
I'm not sure, Jason. After you busted the police might be why they stayed away, but it was awesome. We didn't have any problem with law enforcement at all.
Did you guys get to play my little clip that I sent you?
No, we never could get an internet connection as usual. Has been the experience in D.C.
Yeah, they like to block that.
I also want to mention we've really got some support behind this upcoming 420 in Washington, D.C. I hope to make it one of the largest we've ever seen there. So people mark your calendars for April 20th, 2013, Overgrow the Government's back in D.C. That should be one of the biggest events in the country.
Absolutely, ma'am. And with that being said, I just pitched my new co-host on helping us. She's got some experience in these huge rally plannings. Also, if anybody wants to get involved with Overgrow, Rebecca and I, we've both gotten so active with other things, me, the radio station here in Colorado. And I apologize to all the listeners in the flyover states because the reason I'm in this fight is for you guys. I could be very complacent here in Colorado, which I kind of have been with what I'm doing here with activism. We're going to step it up. We're going to build Overgrow back up to what it was a year or so ago, and we're going to hit D.C. hard. We need everyone there, sacrifice 420. Let's go make a reason to celebrate
after the
420.
Federal hearings, that it's time.
Absolutely.
They were very positive. Cheryl Schumann and both Elvie Musica that I met with were very positive, said the judges actually asked questions that were from information written in fine print. And just 2 hours after the hearings were held, the judges actually ordered a briefing on standing, which could really change things for the patients across this country. If we can prove standing, which basically means that the scheduling of cannabis as it is does harm to the plaintiffs in the case, one of them being Michael Krawietz, who I was just online with, that could be a big deal, and it could give everybody a medical defense. So we're probably going to have to wait a few months for a result, but I think that it's going to be positive. I really think the judges were paying attention.
Fingers and toes crossed, ma'am. So we got to run real quick. We'll get you back on soon because I like to rant with you.
And good luck and with the radio show, the rest of it. And I love you guys and looking forward to future ventures.
Thank you, Rebecca. It was nice having you on.
You too. Nice to meet you, Holly.
And if anybody out there wants to get involved with Overgrow the Government, which is actually separate from Overgrow the Radio, we need volunteers at everything. So just get in touch with me, stickman200210@gmail.com. I know it's a long email address, but I like to confuse the high people. So speaking of high people, it's that time of the night where we'll be right back after I go get my back right. So
Good night,
stick with
everybody.
us. Good night, ma'am. I love you.
Good night.
Love you too.
Stick with us here for a few minutes. We'll be right back on iCannabis Radio's Overgrow the Radio.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380.
Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, the patient's choice for alternative medical marijuana treatment. Dixie Elixirs infuse sparkling beverages, Dixie Edibles, dewdrops, tonics, and Dixie Scripts extraordinarily concentrated cannabis extract capsules, along with Dixie Botanicals, all-natural topical therapy. All of these medicinal remedies are available at your local medical marijuana center. Like us on Facebook, Dixie Elixirs, or join us at www.dixieelixirs.com.
We Grow Colorado, the premier medical marijuana dispensary in Colorado Springs, is proud to be a part of the medical marijuana community. We Grow Colorado works hard to make every patient feel comfortable and informed. With a great selection of medical cannabis in multiple forms, the patient finds many premium choices to aid in their self-treatment. The staff at We Grow Colorado is another large part of what makes We Grow Colorado the #1 choice for many patients throughout the state. Visit them today at 2502 East Bijou Street in Colorado Springs for an experience that will last and last.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer. The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
We Grow Colorado, the premier medical marijuana dispensary in Colorado Springs, is proud to be a part of the medical marijuana community. We Grow Colorado works hard to make every patient feel comfortable and informed. With a great selection of medical cannabis in multiple forms, the patient finds many premium choices to aid in their self-treatment. The staff at We Grow Colorado is another large part of what makes We Grow Colorado the #1 choice for many patients throughout the state. Visit them today at 2502 East Bijou Street in Colorado Springs for an experience that will last and last. Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
Always be kind to each other.
It's like 8:04. I'm sorry we went 4 minutes long on that break. We were totally going to be back 4 minutes ago. I'm going to blame it on Sam because he was the last one to smoke a bowl, and it took him forever. Thanks, Sam. Good job, buddy.
We have to be properly medicated to successfully complete the evening.
Yeah, we can't execute a show if we're not medicated. I know I can't sit here for 2 hours. My back would be like, fuck you.
Definitely. It's tough.
So welcome back to Overgrow the Radio on iCannabisRadio.com. We're joined in studio by part of our next duo, Sean Moore. Chaz is out doing his thing for a minute, and I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad Sean's in here first, just him and I, because we've got a little something to settle, don't we?
I forgot. Yeah, you don't introduce me to nobody.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Apparently, Sean and I hate each other, and we don't talk. We differ in opinion on things, and we talked before you were listening probably about how after November's over, man, I hope all these folks that are bashing can come back and we can all work together because there's a lot of shit to do. And it's okay, dude, that you and I don't agree on everything. I can still love you guys. You guys can still be family. We can disagree and move on.
Yeah.
All right. Are you okay with that?
No.
What do you disagree on?
all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
there
like
beef
bald
going
people.
on specifically
I don't
right
like
now?
people with hair.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big one. Is I don't like bald people, and he hates ponytailed hippies.
Yeah.
So
I have a ponytail,
That's
and I'm a
different.
hippie.
yeah, but you're a pretty girl,
You're
so
a
she
pretty
gets
girl,
away with
so,
it.
I mean, you can get away with that.
So Sean and his family, Chaz and Janice and everyone, and Bree. I got to mention Bree, the
Yeah.
most beautiful one.
Yeah.
They run an organization called I Am Bill Smith. And I'm going to let you've been on, man, but it's been a while, and I apologize for that. So if you want to give us real quick a brief overview of what the organization is.
Basically, I Am Bill Smith is something we put together for my son because when we first came out with this story, we didn't want anybody giving him a hard time, harassing him, especially with him being a minor, only 16. So one of the reporters came up with, the pseudonym Bill Smith. So Chaz always went up and introduced himself as I Am Bill Smith. So that's where that came from, the name of it. But it's just to kind of help support, people with children in the medical marijuana, using medical marijuana actually. So.
Well, and I think honestly, bro, you know me enough by now to know I'm very in your face with what I do in activism. And one of the things I admire about you guys when I met you, you took that step, and we talked about it with Holly earlier. She got to, we introduced Holly. She got to rant for half an hour, and we learned all about her. But with children, there's such a stigma, and you guys, you came out anonymous at first, but even doing that was so huge, especially in Colorado Springs.
Oh yeah, Colorado Springs, where
It's so conservative down there.
way conservative.
And real quick, I mean, we got a lot of other fun stuff to talk about. Hey, Chaz, welcome.
Hi.
Chaz joined us. I think he was doing one last dab. He said his tummy hurt, or his stomach hurt, but tummy. I sound like a parent, don't I?
It's a good word.
Tummy, my tummy hurts.
Well, we're glad to have you in here.
Oh, glad to be
Yeah,
here.
you said you needed a minute because your stomach hurt, but I don't think so. I think you were doing another dab, weren't you?
Actually, I started an attack, but I could feel it coming on, and I need to go outside, so.
And we'll just get all backwards and sideways here. Tell us about the attacks, because you've been on the show, actually, the last time you were here, you had to peel out real quick and medicate because you were having one. They're pretty frequent, right?
It just depends on the days. Like, you have your up and down days, and that's how my body works sometimes.
Explain what you have.
I have a rare disease called myoclonus diaphragmatic flutter. There's only 51 cases ever found in the world. I'm the 51st rarest and most extreme case yet. Basically what happens is, the hiccups. It's hiccups, but a lot faster. Like, my speech gets real choppy. You can kind of understand me, but not really. Get really tired, slow, like don't really want to do anything because my body's working so hard. One of my neurologists actually told me it was like running a 27-mile marathon. Every 30 minutes it happens. And when I was taking 16 pills 3 times a day, plus going to the emergency room, I was going anywhere from 3 hours to 48 hours straight. And now that I'm on medical marijuana, it only happens like as soon as I can get to my medication, like I can stop my attack and I'm good.
So essentially, I mean, it's a rescue medicine for you. I mean, it's
And
instant relief.
preventative. You try to use high CBD, which was working really, really great, but now, when we first started getting the really high CBD stuff, he was having them maybe once a week. But the thing with Chaz was the only thing consistent about his disease, or with him on this, is its inconsistency. I mean, what would work when we were using pharmaceuticals, one time wouldn't work the next, and so we're constantly switching things up with him, changing ratios in the CBD oil to THC and his edibles. I mean, the only thing he doesn't use is a suppository.
Well, and I think that's what people don't realize is how beneficial things like moving forward and working within the system, if you will, can be for things like that. Because if we were to test everything and know more specifically what strains or what oils or what edibles work for what conditions, I think a lot of us we talked earlier about how it takes time to find what works for pain or
Oh,
your
yeah.
condition or anything else.
When Chaz and I first started this 2 years ago, I grabbed one of the Canalab things and said, "Oh well, seizure like muscle spasms, pain." I'm going into dispensaries going, "I want stuff with this," and they'd look at me like, "Huh?"
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of times the people working at dispensaries, there's only a few I think that all of us shop at because we're picky. We want to go places where they're knowledgeable. I mean, when you walk in and get that reaction, you're like, oh shit, what am I buying here? Am I getting medicine or am I getting chemicals?
Yeah.
So absolutely. I mean, was it for you? I mean, we talked about our situations earlier. When you made that switch from pharmaceuticals, I mean, what was life like on pharmaceuticals for you as a kid?
I really don't remember being 15. I remember watching on the 4th of July one firework going up, and then
From his hospital room.
Yeah, from the hospital window, and then I just went to bed. And it really wasn't worth staying up because I don't know, at that point in time, no one could come up with answers for me or my dad. We were kind of a little scared still and didn't know what to do. And then now on cannabis, we joke about my attacks. It's ridiculous. Everybody in the industry, everybody in the family, new people that we meet, they're like, wait, did you really just say that to him? I mean, if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry about it, and it's better to laugh about it.
Absolutely.
And now we can laugh about it, it's because, I mean, I don't have to worry about him going to the hospital and overdosing on these pharmaceuticals that they were giving him, Everything from Xanax, morphine, Valium, fentanyl, and not including the anti-seizure medicines on top of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of those, I mean, are nothing short of heroin.
Oh, yeah. He was
heroin.
doing adult doses, intravenously at the hospital. And, 2 or 3 hours later being,
shot up again.
When you switch to cannabis...
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
I'm just saying, and that's nothing for them.
No.
Yeah,
they do that every day to so many people.
Yeah, especially when you're doing more than your dad, and your dad's 280 and you're 115 in the hospital.
Yeah. I'm looking at the doctor going, how the hell can this little kid do that? 20 milligrams of IV, morphine. Wham. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
And they're
What
like,
is that going to do to
I was
his
like, yeah,
future?
that would knock me out for a couple days.
Well, and how, I mean, when you found cannabis, how quickly was that transition to, oh my God, I'm alive again?
Actually, one of our close friends gave us one of the old Jolly Ranchers that were first started, and actually I had an attack one night, and I told my dad, I was like, well, let's just try it. Instead of going to the emergency right away, we always have that backup to go to the emergency room, and we know something there that one of the big drugs that they have will at least knock me out to where I don't have to be there anymore to feel it.
Sure.
But so we got the candy. I put it in my mouth about 25 minutes later.
Yeah, about 25 minutes later, he was fine.
Yeah, I was fine. I was watching
Energetic.
TV, eating dinner,
walking around instead of, zombified.
Well, was that like a light bulb moment? I mean, was it instant? Hey, this works? Or
No,
were you a little
not
leery?
instant, but it was like, wow, this is interesting.
This
is interesting. Now, let's see what happens the next time.
Yeah.
And then it happened again, and then it happened again, and then it happened again, and then it's like, wow, because at first all we did was the hard candies, because that way he could suck on it as long as he needed, and he could spit it out whenever he felt his body start to relax. And then, what about almost a year of doing pretty much nothing but edibles, maybe 8 months. He was like, Dad, I'm really tired of getting super high, because you know how the edibles, it stays in your system longer, and he's like, after he's having so many attacks, he's like, I'm really tired of being this high. It's almost like being back, on the pharmaceuticals.
Wait, hold on. But the reason that I was having so many attacks is because more towards the changing of seasons, my body changes into something different. That's one thing I have noticed personally. More towards the winter time
In
or
springtime, it gets weirder.
Springtime,
Yeah.
it starts to change, and then I know what's going on for the next month, 2 months.
Kind of in cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like my back pain for a minute, but that's a little more unpredictable.
But anyway, to go where we were at, one of the bud tenders that we know very well was like, hey, I got this vape pen. Actually, it was an Organolabs Atmos or whatever. She's like, you guys really need to try this. Because, he had tried smoking once out of a vaporizer, and, he couldn't get a deep enough breath. And I tried out of a bong one time, couldn't get a deep enough breath. But she had that cool little vape pen, and he hit that thing, and it stopped it right then.
Nice.
It was like, that's when the light bulb went on and said, what the hell have we been doing all this time? And we don't call it smoking. We call it, what do we call it?
Inhalation therapy.
I like that term. I try to use that a lot.
Yeah, inhalation therapy, most kids, asthmatics, have to do their inhaler. Well, my son's inhaler happens to have THC and CBDs and other cannabinoids.
I was absolutely, I'll admit, I was a recreational user as a kid. And
Me too.
So, the coin phrases always come back in, like smoking, getting high, weed. I try to refrain from using those terms as much as I can. And the first time I heard that, I think, was with you guys. Yeah. I love that term. It's great. So, you use a lot of concentrates, and I'm going to use this as like a double thing to plug one of our mutual friends. I don't know if Sam has the camera on me, but you also use tears, right? You use the tears?
Yes, I do.
And I think the reason I point that out is when people think of, and I don't even want to call it. Oil. There you go. Let's be proper and call it realm oil. I'm sorry, Josh. Love you guys. Again, a coin phrase that comes out. Josh. Again, a coin phrase that comes out. The realm of caring. For anyone who doesn't know, we'll talk about them again at the end of the show. They started really working with cancer patients and getting oil to cancer patients, and they've since branched out. I think what we're learning is this oil works for a lot of things, and not just cancer.
Not just cancer, seizure patients, Dervey, little Charlotte, and our neighbor.
Yeah, actually, our neighbor kind of down the street neighbor.
Yeah, down the street around the corner.
That's a neighbor. It's the same hood. It's all good.
It's the same neighborhood.
Yeah, as long as it's not across the tracks.
No, it's not across the tracks.
Then we're good.
We're all still on the tracks. Which side of the tracks are we on? Good side, bad side? I don't know.
Well, it's always the bad side. Whatever side I live on is always the bad side, so it really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, but anyway, it's working great for these kids, One of them's 5 years old, 13.
3.
No, I don't think 3-year-old. Oh, yeah, Cashy. He's 4 now.
Oh, 4.
Yeah, we talked earlier a little bit about Paige and Charlotte and Cashy.
Oh, yeah. And, it's Charlotte's birthday today, too.
Oh, well, happy birthday, young lady. I bet she's all
and her
energetic.
Twin sister. Yeah.
Nice. Cashy Hyde is up in Montana.
He's up in Montana.
We can go over that real quick. His dad, actually, one of the first speeches he did was with us in D.C. at my first Overgrow protest. It was when he had just come out public, and Cashy was basically dying. I mean, the doctors had written him off.
18 months old. He was the youngest medical marijuana patient in the country.
He had like a huge, something like 8-centimeter tumor that had basically wrapped around his brain.
Optic nerve.
There you go. Yeah. And they had written him off. He hadn't eaten in like 40 days. And Mike was a caregiver and started putting oil in his tube, his feeding tube. And within like a day, Cashy was starting to change and started eating and just became a little boy again. Like his tumor was so bad, like his eye was bulging out. I mean, there's videos all over that will make you cry. I'll put you on one.
Oh yeah, when me and Chaz first saw his video after, I'm coming out going, I'm the only parent. Oh, wait, no, there's Cash. Oh, wait, no, there's Miko. Oh, wow, I'm not alone.
Well, and it's really cool about our world how that happens, because before you do that and you get active and out there, you don't know there's other people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, before Chaz, the only thing I knew about marijuana was when I was younger, I liked to smoke it. It got me high, and I enjoyed it. Now I'm sitting there going, CBD and THCV and da-da-da-da-da and wham-whams and zing-zings, and I never knew this much about marijuana.
So I got to digress a little bit in Chaz's story. With everything that's happened, man, I want you to tell folks who've missed it when you guys have been on before, you weren't allowed to attend school like a normal teenager because of your choice of medicine.
Well, what happened with the school is they told me I could not return after using medical marijuana. They made me walk 1.25 miles home to my house unsupervised.
While having these attacks.
While having my attacks, and I had to cross 2 busy streets, walking home from school. And then one day they told me it was gonna be, or they were gonna call it internal possession, and that's when we went right to the news. And then we wanted to talk to their lawyers, the school lawyers and everything, and he
I
was
went straight to the
rude.
head of the district and then to the attorney. And
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's any good parent. I mean, if you find something, if your child's suffering, you do what you can to help your child. And then, you know, they're depriving you of an education, proper, quote unquote. I use that very loosely, proper education, because it's horrible education. But anyway, they deprive you of a public education because you're not pumping yourself full of pills. I think you were allowed to take pills, right?
Oh yeah, I was allowed to take 5.
No, you were allowed to have 2 Valium in your pocket at all times.
No, I was talking about at Sierra when I was taking Vicodin.
Oh, that was the week after you got kicked out of school.
Well, and let's face the facts. I mean, cannabis use in medical states amongst teenagers is down. It's the numbers are there. It's a fact. The highest rate of abuse these days is pharmaceuticals. Is it not ridiculously ironic that you could take all those pills during your school day, but if you even had cannabis in your system, you faced expulsion?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I can walk around zombified on Valium, but I can't walk around normal on my meds.
Yeah, it's
So-
crazy what they think is acceptable. Just like I was saying earlier, they let me I missed almost 2 weeks of school when I first started taking Vicodin because I was just like so out of it. Because they were giving me a pretty high dose, and I was only 13.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chaz was just, and I mean, the Friday they told him that he couldn't come back to school. That night he went out and sprained his ankle. Skating. We went to, and he didn't say nothing until until the next morning. He calls me up because he spent the night at his buddy's house. Calls me up and says, "I think I need to go to the emergency room. It might have broke my ankle." So we go up and his ankle's the size of a softball, and so we take him. Well, they give him Vicodin. So I'm like, all right, cool. Chaz takes one and gets sick, and he's like, I can't take any more of this. But make a long story short, Monday morning I called the school up and said, hey, can my kid come to school on Vicodin? Oh, a doctor prescribed it? Sure, no problem. I was like, but his neurologist and his allergist and, two other, these 2 well-known doctors recommended that he uses medical marijuana, even gave you a whole list of why and what did and didn't work. And
yeah, I mean, and you're kind of an exception to the rule in that you didn't go to a cannabis clinic to get your evaluation. I mean, you had, quote unquote, again, mainstream doctors saying, hey, try this. Hey, it's working. Hey, you need this.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, we had 2 doctors sign off that...
which sucked because I recommend going to cannabis doctors because the other doctors do not know the paperwork.
Right.
It's going to get kicked back to you 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, like, it took us almost 8 months to get my red card.
Yeah. I just got a letter of medical necessity from one of them, so...
Well, and we hit on that briefly with Holly's story that we do still have that right to fall back on.
And when did you get your card for the first time?
16?
When I was 16.
So how old are you now?
18.
Okay, so 2 years.
Yeah, I've had it for 2 years.
Yeah, he's an adult now, so we don't get to call him kid anymore. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, he's always going to be my baby. What are you talking about?
So you actually just had a first. We're Facebook buddies, and, your dad and I hashed it out at the beginning of the show how I don't see you guys anymore, so we hate each
You don't ever call,
other.
you don't write, you don't come over.
Yeah.
You don't have coffee anymore.
Actually, I live up the road from you guys now,
I know.
so there's really no
I saw
excuse.
more of you when you lived in Manitou. That's why I'm going to punch you.
Well, you probably still would if you come to Manitou, because that's usually where you can find me when I'm in town.
Yeah,
so.
I thought I saw your car, driving on our street.
Oh, you may have. I may have been lost in my own neighborhood. That's happening a lot lately. But you actually just got to do something pretty cool, man, because, with what they've done with you at school, I've kind of been your guys' friend and followed, and you've made it. You're getting your education, you're doing what you have to do, and I admire that. A lot of kids would have said, screw it, and join the Navy or, whatever, run off to backpack.
He's a medical marijuana patient.
Right.
Yeah, I can't even buy a gun. So.
Right. But you actually just attended maybe one of your first dances.
Yeah, my first homecoming.
Nice. So I guess you have a lovely girlfriend that we met before the show who is a public school student.
Yeah, and Martina, she's outside.
And you made it through the dance without being arrested for internal possession.
Yeah, made it all the way through.
So, I mean, out of curiosity, was this the same school that you went to that you had problems with?
It was her school.
Good.
Dance.
Good.
Different school district, everything.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think what we're going to do, I know Chaz's attacks all too well, so we're going to take a little break, and if you guys can stay for 10 minutes, we'll love to have you for a few more.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll rant and rave some more here on Overgrow the Radio. Stay with us. Peace.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado, and remember,
always be kind to each other.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380. We Grow Colorado, the premier medical marijuana dispensary in Colorado Springs, is proud to be a part of the medical marijuana community. We Grow Colorado works hard to make every patient feel comfortable and informed. With a great selection of medical cannabis in multiple forms, the patient finds many premium choices to aid in their self-treatment. The staff at We Grow Colorado is another large part of what makes We Grow Colorado the #1 choice for many patients throughout the state. Visit them today at 2502 East Bijou Street in Colorado Springs for an experience that will last and last.
By the sound of Sam's smooth jazz, it means it's time to come back and make more radio. Welcome back. I'm here with Miss Holly G.
Hello.
I gotta let you talk more for the rest of the show. I've been very loud and caffeinated tonight. I'm sorry.
I
punch
need to
him.
do that myself.
Reach over and smack him. I would.
And the guy who hates my guts and doesn't talk to me, Sean Moore.
No.
And his wonderful son, Chaz, who's actually the brains of the outfit over there.
Yeah, see, I'm
For
the
real.
brains.
He is. So I wanted to sue the hell out of the school, and Ched's like, no. Because then you'll just take away everybody else's education. I'm like,
Ooh, that's thinking the bigger picture, brother.
Yeah, see.
That's yeah, I could go off on that, but we'll leave that one alone. Public education definitely, as I mentioned, needs help. As much as I bitched
quit
and,
bombing all these places over in the Middle East and teach our kids something.
As much as I have my qualms with 64, and we may be pro or con, one of the good things in that bill is the money earmarked for schools and reconstruction of schools. Because I've seen schools just by driving by that I can tell you are falling apart on the inside, and that's sad. Kids should have a better education. Teachers should have the money to be paid a decent salary, and we wouldn't be like 200th in the world in education right now.
Oh yeah,
so,
it's pretty bad when a lot of these people consider second class, or we're a superpower, so why are these other countries that are supposed to be below us have better education?
Right. Most
sense.
people don't have to pay for college in other countries. That's included in, that's part of their life.
Yeah,
actually, we're one of the very few industrialized nations that doesn't provide education and health. Well, we're the only one with healthcare, but with education, one of the very few who doesn't have public university. It's sad.
It's really sad. And then they're going to bite their tongue when it gets legalized and a lot of the money goes back towards the schools. So it's definitely...
Money.
It's a vicious cycle. It is. I think, tax money from medical cannabis has helped, and I think as states slowly start to legalize, that's money, too, that's going to help schools. As Sean pointed out, if we just end these damn wars, we're fighting for rich people's oil money. If we'd bring those guys home, there's money saved there that could be used for schools. Again, we rank amongst the lowest in the world in education. Something where I was going with that before I got completely high and sidetracked is, the dropout rate these days is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like 25, 30%. I mean, something crazy. I don't even know the exact number. So it's very admirable. Like before the break, I was saying, man, that you've stuck it out. I mean, they pushed you away from getting your education in a public school, and you continued with your education, whereas I said a lot of people would have dropped out. And that's very admirable, because not only sometimes I can't talk, not only do people drop out, but you were also at the same time dealing with a pretty severe illness, which you still deal with, and you're still huffing it out, man, and still getting the education.
Well, yeah, exactly. This is how I do it. Like, personally, I'm going to keep going through high school as long as I can, and if I can't finish by the time they actually have to kick me out, because I was gone for I went my freshman year of high school, maybe my whole freshman year.
No, not even close. You were high.
That must have been the pharmaceutical year.
Yeah, that was the pharmaceutical year.
He made it from fall to December, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then he did about 2 or 3 days first freshman year.
And then I
went
went
freshman year.
Almost a semester in Sierra, so that's like 8.5 credits. And now I'm a senior. Yeah, so I got almost 400 and something credits to catch up.
Nice, brother. Nice. Well, we've got just a few minutes left. As I told you guys before, I squeezed like 6 people into the show tonight. I will make an on-air promise that I will get back in my routine of getting the nonprofits up here and on the show at least every other month for you guys.
Do you guys have a website?
Yeah, that's my next question. Holly G, it reads my mind.
Or do you have somewhere like
There
a
you go.
Facebook or email?
Yeah, I am Bill.
He's going again.
I know.
I am BillSmith.com. And if you go there, there's stories about Chaz, Cash Hyde, Joey out in California, and Miko with autism. And we got a little bio about Charlotte on there. And I'm waiting for somebody in Michigan to give me their bio so I can put it on our website, but she hasn't sent it to me.
No pressure. Hint, hint. Yeah. Well, guys, I know we've got some stuff going on in the Springs. I promise now that I'm closer to you guys, we'll get together in Manitou for coffee. We'll drive back out to Manitou and have coffee. So I will be in touch very soon. You
Why do I
guys
have
don't
to drive to Denver to come see you?
I know, right? Why do I have to drive to Denver to come to see you? That's the bigger question.
Especially when you live like 4 blocks down the street.
I kind of do, yeah. So, and I appreciate you guys making it up. I know it's not an easy drive for any of us to get up here and back.
Oh, it's cool. Dad driving. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, right. Well, he drives faster than us. We're old.
And cautious.
And cautious.
Not a bad thing.
Is there anything else that you guys want to plug before you get out? You mentioned the other kids going on.
I am BillSmith.com,
Yeah.
which I'm checking out now.
And not only that, the Rome oil, which is helping out a lot of these kids. Chaz too. It's just we got to go back and find the right ratios again. But I mean, the Realm's helping us out a lot.
Absolutely.
So Realm is how do you spell that?
Well, we're going to talk about them right now. I'm going to educate my
terrible
co-hosts
speller,
right now. Because we'll just do our sponsors before we wish you guys good. Bid you adieu.
Plug your sponsors.
You want to hear my ramble?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say it all in like 2 breaths. Are you ready?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Actually, the Realm of Caring has sponsored us since the beginning. We've sponsored them. It's been a coexistence. Great guys. I actually made it to their grow the other day. Got to visit. Oh, it's ready for harvest. It's huge trees. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
But the Realm of Caring, as I say all the time, if you're a dispensary and you don't donate to them, I won't buy weed from you. Cannabis, sorry.
The Realm, are you saying?
Yeah, Realm of Caring,
okay.
realmofcaring.com.
Donate your trims so that way they can make this oil for these cancer patients.
Donate your trim. If you're a dispensary and you use every bit of your trim for hash and extracts, donate them some money. Donate them a volunteer to go answer phones. What's happening, guys, is we've got more patients right now than we've got help to get oil out, too. So we got to equal this out. We've got to help as many patients as we can.
Chaz went, 2 months without his oil just to make sure that there's enough for the Gervais kids down in Colorado Springs because, he's like, I can go get, flour and stuff like that. These kids depend on the oil.
And that's the exact same thing. This is the first oil I've had in about a month or so.
Yeah,
so same thing.
Donate.
We've got to get the trim coming in.
They're helping out a lot of people, so.
Realm of Caring, and we'll just continue on that theme. Independent Records, which if you're in the Springs, Independent. You can get all your tapes, records, CDs, video games, everything you want, pipes, bongs, pretty much all of it. In Dispensary, one of the few dispensaries I shop at, owned by the Stanley Brothers, all outdoor, organically grown in a nice, beautiful greenhouse, legally grown in a greenhouse. Green Monster Glass, that commercial leading us back in. That's Daryl. If you want cheap glass, you need to give him a call. Not cheap, inexpensive. If you own a dispensary and you're not stocking your dispensary with his glass, you're missing out because patients are poor, guys. We need reasonably priced glass.
No, that's for sure. I broke one to date.
Right. Dixie Elixirs. We're super excited to be partnered up with Dixie. I actually got a present last week when they were in for their segment.
They got some good stuff there, too.
Well, I've got a top secret present that I was brought in, and I can't share it with anyone yet, but soon it'll be on the air. Dixie is doing some amazing stuff. Check out both their websites, DixieX.com and DixieElixirs.com. The Dixie X line is a CBD line that they can ship anywhere around the world. If you haven't heard about it yet, stay tuned next month for their segment. They will teach us about it.
Yeah, Chaz like that. He tried some of that. Yeah.
I have someone very close to me that's using it that can't use cannabis, and they swear by it. So it's amazing that people can at least get something.
Yeah.
You can be in Alabama and you can get something.
Yeah.
And the police cannot arrest you. The Hemp Connoisseur magazine. A couple weeks ago, we were out at their live event. It was amazing. They did the cup. I was a connoisseur judge for the cup. I rather enjoyed that. Anytime I get to judge cannabis, my day's okay. So you can pick them up anywhere now. 7-Elevens, pretty much every head shop, a lot of dispensaries. So definitely check them out. And if anybody out there is interested in sponsoring or knows someone who wants to sponsor myself, us, or any of the other shows here on iCannabis Radio, you can always contact us through their website or directly on Facebook or our Overgrow the Radio page on Facebook.
Get your name read on the air.
Yes, and we'll talk nice stuff about you, especially if you're a dispensary and we like your cannabis. Well, we won't let you be a sponsor unless we like your cannabis. So that's the way that works. We're an internet radio station. All proceeds are greatly appreciated. Our sponsors make this possible. They get me away from my girlfriend a couple days a week so she doesn't kill me. So we're going to keep doing what we can here to fight the good fight, and we appreciate everyone's support. Guys, we're going to have to run because we got to call Bob Wiley here in a minute.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you guys for coming on. If you want to wait 20 minutes, I'll follow you home. We'll race at like 55. So until next time, everybody out there, check out IamBillSmith.com. Support the kids in this fight. It is the kids and the ladies and the different groups that aren't historically fighting this fight that we've got to get out there on the forefront to win this fight. So, guys, thanks for everything you do. Exactly.
The Bob Krauses and
exactly.
all that, so.
And I'm going to get an update on his medicine. We're going to talk to him again soon and see what's happening.
I tried to call him today. He didn't answer. Bye.
He's hiding out. All right, we love you. We'll be back. We're going to take a short break here on Overgrow the Radio, and then we'll get Bob Wiley on the phone. Stay with us. Peace.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Malamud from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380. The
Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
And we're almost back. We're back. We might be back. I think we're back on my Cannabis Radio's Overgrow the Radio. So Miss Holly G has almost made it through her second show. Are we doing okay?
Doing good.
Are you bored to death yet?
I'm alive.
Do you think you'll survive Overgrow the Radio?
I think I'll overgrow it.
We're about to get much more political next week. I know you will. It will be phenomenal.
Yes.
So anyway, Sam's going to hit send real quick and call Bob Wiley. Bob sits on the board with me down in the Springs on the Cannabis Council, the Colorado Springs Medical Cannabis Council to be exact. Bob is also a veteran who has been involved with the PTSD issue here in Colorado. They've been trying to get it on the list so veterans can get it.
Yeah, this is Bob.
Hey, Bob. It's Stickman and Holly. How are you this evening?
Hey, doing good. Doing
Hi,
good.
Bob.
We've got you here on the air on Overgrow the Radio, and I was just giving you a brief little lead-in introduction there. you sit with me on the board, as I mentioned, and you were quoted recently in some media with the PTSD situation. We're very limited on time, and I always apologize for that, but we're going to try to talk a little about both. The Cannabis Council, you and I'm a newbie there. I'm a freshman, if you will. How long have you been involved with the council, Bob?
Actually, I got started when the council got formed, when the city of Colorado Springs was in the process of setting up ordinances for how they're going to regulate medical marijuana dispensaries, as they called them back then. And that's, basically it was at a position where, is the city going to try to completely ban these things altogether? And that was part of the initial battle, was to, even get them considered to be places where, the city could actually regulate them. So that was the beginning of the council.
And so, you were one of the original, you were there with Tanya and Jessica in the beginning, fighting our lovely city council and mayor at the time?
Well, yeah, what happened was the city council directed a task force be formed, and it had, a couple of police officers. It had even actually some of the vocal opposition to medical marijuana, that, and all these people from, diverse sides were to get together and figure out, okay, what would a regulated system look like, or if there would even be one. And so there were probably, I don't know, maybe in the initial part, 30 of us, and then that got pared down, and finally the opposition somewhat dropped out after we had a public vote on dispensaries for the city and the county as well. Then the council, probably at about that time, officially formed as a group of basically people in the industry or activists such as myself and advocates, and we've got a couple of attorneys. So we're trying to keep a pretty broad spectrum of people and voices on the council.
Well, you've known me for a little while now, and I don't join organizations or really do any work anymore without attorneys surrounding me. So it's a good thing. To clarify, I compare us a lot for folks listening to like a marijuana policy project, MPP, where we try to stay more in the legislative process, working with the city and law enforcement and with the regulation side of things. I think the council a lot of times is misunderstood, that we should be out there on the streets with signs every week. And I think we're fulfilling a different function. And correct me if I'm wrong there.
Well, I think a lot of what we did, and we still do this, is we take elected officials and prospective elected officials, and even people in the community who have never been inside a dispensary or a center, and show them what it's about, because it's usually these people that are going to make decisions, pro or con, about how the industry is going to be regulated and what it's going to look like. And those are probably the most influential people that we can interact with. And so, and I think for everyone in the community, when they get a chance to walk through a dispensary, it's like, wow, I never imagined it would be this complex. There's operations in there that I'm amazed at every time I go into a center. So, and particularly, I've been kind of an activist for the last 20 years in, drug policy reform, and there's a lot of the stuff I still don't know, but it's just an educational process, and I think the whole thing is getting community leaders to understand what it's about.
Absolutely. Well, before we do run out of time, let's jump forward a little bit. And the council's got some projects going on that we're working on. I know different things with the election, and we're working on our mixer before the election to get some folks out. I know that Pete Lee's going to be there, and I haven't really touched base with anyone to see who else is coming at this point. What do you think, as your opinion, before we jump off the council, in the future of what we do, where would you like to see us go in 5 years?
5 years is a long time. I guess it'll
We'll
depend
say a
on
year.
what
How
happens
about a
in
year?
Amendment 64. But one of the things that I'd like to see, and I've just got recently involved in it, is see if we can get promotion or get the centers more involved in donating medicine so we can do hemp oil for cancer patients. I think that's one of the really big public service jobs that we could do if we can get centers here in the city and county and actually even across the state involved in donating products so that we can provide this medicine to cancer patients who, they wouldn't be able to afford it.
Well, absolutely. We just talked with Sean and Chaz, who you know well, and brought up the realm, and you and I talked earlier about how we, as a council, want to push them.
Well, the other part that I'd like to see move forward is a while back I was involved with veterans for Amendment 64, and one of the things about our current, we're trying to get the health department to add PTSD to the list of conditions that somebody can get a red card to. Right now, I'm a veteran. We've got 420,000 veterans living in the state of Colorado, and many of these vets, are afflicted with PTSD, and if they don't have some other underlying condition that's already set up on the registry, they can't legally obtain a red card to use medical marijuana. And, some people says, well, all they got to do is go in there and lie to their doc. Well, people shouldn't have to lie. I mean,
right.
We want this to be straight up PTSD and to be able to get a red card.
Well, and you just led yourself into my other question we were going to hit on, so that's perfect. And I mean, that's hitting the nail on the head right there. I mean, in New Mexico, they just found out basically through studies that roughly half of their patients are PTSD patients. It's okayed there, and that's what the percentage is. I think we've shown, Israel has done a ton of studies at this point that shows it helps PTSD. We're so far behind right now on that, it's ridiculous. I would agree, Bob, that's a huge step, and I, of course, will do anything I can to help the council go in any direction we choose as a group. We are absolutely running out of time because I am squeezing one more guest into my show like I like to do sometimes. Bob, would you come back on in a couple of weeks and we'll get more into PTSD? I'm actually going to have a lady on who was one of the people who drew the proposal up for the state. So she knows you, and
I would love to do that.
We can spend an hour talking about it, and it is definitely, I've lost family to the wars going on, and I know people affected by the wars going on, and it's not taking care of our soldiers is appalling. So I appreciate, Bob. I need you real quick. I talk too much, so go ahead and shout out our council web address for everyone.
You put me on the spot there. It's Colorado Springs Medical Cannabis Council. I mean, you just Google that.
It's
csmcc.net net.org.
That's why I'm right there with you, man. That little dot thing confuses me every time. Thanks for coming on, sir, and I'll be in touch soon, and we'll get you back on and really delve into the PTSD issue.
Well, thank you, Jason, for what you do, and good luck with the program there. We'll see you.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, so we have to take one more short break, and Sam doesn't know it, but I'm going to keep him like 5 minutes long. We'll be right back. Peace.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380. 5380.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
And we're back, and we're going to go like just a few minutes long tonight. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We still got a few chatters left in our chat room. It's amazing. I mean, people log in and then they're done. I probably wouldn't be a chatter, so I can't hold it against them. I would listen to the show without chatting. I'm guilty. Actually, Holly helps me tremendously being on board with that. Yeah, you can slide back in. We've got to teach her the way that you can be a ninja and just walk in. It's all good. So we're joined now in the studio by Tyrone and Nate from Canopages. Can I say Canopages, Colorado, or are we changing that?
Well, that's kind of thing in the past at this point. It's kind of one of the reasons we're on the show tonight. New national website launch. Yeah, we have been a Colorado-only business for almost 3 years here, and we've been working really hard on launching national, and pretty much a day away from getting that new site up and going. So it's really exciting.
Well, and I'll be me. I'll be an ass, and I'll say that there's a lot of folks in our industry here in the state that don't like your competitor because they have ties to big organizations that some people don't like.
Well, you guys did have a lanyard of theirs in your office last time I was here, and I said
yeah, well,
something.
free shit, man. I mean, it was a High Times
Right.
cup, and we,
What are you gonna do? Okay.
But yeah, we corrected that, I believe, and we hung something up from you guys. One of the reasons, just to prop you guys up a little bit, I always have liked you guys because you jumped on board with me with Overgrow. I had an idea, and one of the first emails I got was from this guy here. Hey, we want to get involved. And we just had another one, by the way, on Monday with Moms for Marijuana out there.
Nice.
But you guys have always been more than generous. And not only that, you're a local group of guys, a local company, and you've stayed that way. You've always been humble. You've been quick to work with folks.
Yeah, we kind of like to say we tie the industry together a bit, because we're a hub for information. It's basically what our site is, and we have the opportunity to work with a lot of industry groups, and we have over the past. They kind of come and go, and we always lend our support to them. Whether it's graphic design, web support, or just general knowledge of the industry, because we have been a part of it for almost since the beginning here.
Well, and I'll give you more kudos that you're responsible for my current show logo. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. No problem.
So tell us, what's going to go on with this national site? What's that going to provide? Is it all the medical states, I'm guessing?
Yep, it's all the medical states, and in those states as well, it's going to have like grow stores, medical doctors, pipe shops, anything that a patient would need to basically supply themselves with the means to medicate.
Nice.
And along with that, we have a news feed. It's called Dispatches from the Highlands, and it's where our editors pull in relevant articles every week, and we post them on the site. And it's almost like an online newspaper kind of thing. So that's one of the new features that we're kind of unveiling here, as well as we kind of ramped up our critique section. We've been working with Herbal Synergy, and we review a lot of the strains that he tests, and basically just to benefit the patients and kind of let them know what we think about the strain and what dispensaries they can find that on. So those are the two things that are coming out with this the initial soft launch tomorrow, and by the time the national International Medical Marijuana Business Conference comes around, we'll have a live menu capability, and
No, there's a squeaky chair in here.
yeah, that's my chair.
Oh, you're good, dude. We moved it over there so we wouldn't have to sit in it.
It makes you notice like your nervous twitch. I'm like moving back and forth and.
Oh, you're good. You're not talking to anyone. There's nobody listeling. So it's all good.
Are you going to be able to search? So in California and just all the legal states.
Yep, all the legal states you'll be able to search it. The site's going to kind of check your IP, try to figure out where you're at initially, give you an initial list, and you can refine it from there. And we're also working with Atlas, and they're a local company as well out of Salida, and they provide a POS system to dispensaries, to facilitate with the seed to sale tracking required by the state. And we're going to be working hand in hand with them to provide live listings for their clients. So they're working with, I think they have about a third of the market share currently in Colorado. So by that November 6th date, I believe, we'll have all their menus live on Canna pages. You'll be able to find, what strain works for you at what dispensary. So it's going to be pretty excellent.
And you have
Awesome.
coupons.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. That's will be coming out later with the hard launch. Right now, what we're doing is we allow the dispensary to put like daily specials on their listings, so they can list their Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as be able to do a weekly special. So our biggest thing has always been to help patients find the lowest price medication at closest to them, and we honestly credit ourselves with dispensaries using coupons. We right when we first started, we called up all these dispensaries saying, "Hey, what are your specials? What do you guys offer to patients?" And they're like, "What specials?" Like no one even thought that far to we can market ourselves in the same way that anyone else markets themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've kind of been there with the development.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize with advertising and things of that nature, the cannabis industry in medical states reaches into so many different facets of the state economy. It's not just grow shops and head shops. It's everything, really, essentially. So kudos on that, bro.
Thanks, man.
As I mentioned, we got you in quickly at a last-minute thing here. There's a symposium, though, that you guys also, and we'll come back and we're going to get your info and stuff, but before we run too much out of time, there's a symposium coming up that's actually coincides with my show next week. It's next Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, and sorry about that, but...
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're coming alongside of Cloverleaf Consulting. We're being their media partner on that, and we're kind of helping them get the word out. It's going to be a really cool event. Some really high-profile attorneys are going to be there, like Rob Corey, Warren Edson, Sean McAllister, and a few other ones. And they're basically going to kind of help people figure out, what are the changes going to happen to the medical marijuana industry if A64 does indeed pass. And I mean, that's a huge, huge issue for everyone, especially all of us patients and people involved in the industry. As much as we love legalization, we want to know that, we'll be taken care of in some way. So.
Well, I love Chloe. She's a sweetheart. I actually got to hang out with her and her little puppy before the No on 64 press conference last week. And I'll just credit her for that good level of medication. It gave me the confidence to go up on stage and chat with all the DAs and chiefs of police up there. We're actually having, as I mentioned earlier, Tom Gorman next week on the show, who's a longtime drug warrior, gets to come on and tell us their side of the argument. So
that's interesting, man. That's cool that he's agreed to come into, kind of...
Cannabis Radio.
The Shark's Den.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going
Well, we're going to be respectful and probably hold off on medicating or have edibles that night. We won't share with Tom. He's not a patient, but...
Right.
So the symposium, where's it at again, and the time and everything?
It's at Castleman's, and it's going to be October 25th, Thursday, like you said, from 5 to 9. And I believe that there's a meet and greet kind of time between 5 to 6, a networking time. And then after that, that's when people or the lawyers will start kind of fielding questions and explaining, what's going on with that.
So you told me that Tyrone was the brains behind your launch, and I just surpassed that whole segment, and he just sat there. So next time when you guys come back on, we're going to make Tyrone talk. I have a few people who do segments who bring people in from time to time that just like to hang out and not talk. at one point, man, we're going to make you talk. But kudos on all your hard work. If there's anything Nate missed that you want to add, you guys should absolutely shout your website out again, too. Contact info.
Yeah, it's canapages.com, and look for the new site. But we're going to be probably going live tomorrow night, and look for that Saturday. So it's going to be awesome.
Congrats again, brother. And I encourage everybody to get out to the symposium next week. Of course, you can listen to my show in the archives after you're done. Whether you're for or against 64, we all know my opinion because I'm an opinionated person. Holly, she's been kind of quiet on that, but I think I know where she's at. But anyway, no matter what you feel about it, it's really important to get out and hear people like Warren and Sean and get different perspectives of people who have been pillars of this industry in Colorado since before we thought about being activists. And not only them, but get perspectives of everyone. I mean, it's coming up quick, and just please, everyone, make an informed decision. Again, it's a baby step, but it's a step forward. Guys, thanks again for coming in. I think it's time for all of us to go home and smoke fat bowls. Because we wouldn't do it before we went home. That'd be illegal. Exactly. And we wouldn't condone that. So everybody have a great night. I think we're going to sky out for the night. And until next time, as I mentioned, next week we start off with law enforcement. We've got Tom Gorman. Tom was kind of a drug warrior here in Colorado for decades. He's now retired, but he's vowed to fight drugs until the day he dies. That's a quote from Westward. And then after him, we're going to bring in Howard, and Howard is riding his horse across country right now. He's the co-founder of LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. I'm going to guess that Howard and our first guest don't belong to the same retirement club of law enforcement. And then we're going to finish off with Betty Aldworth, and Betty is a staunch fighter, soldier for the campaign to regulate. So, again, my opinion is a yes vote on 64. If you share my opinion, get out there and educate people.
Yes.
We've got to get out and vote, folks, or this won't happen. Stick around for other great programming next week, and we'll be back on Thursday. Until then, we love you. Peace.
Green Monster Glass, a full selection of glass and glass accessories, as well as all of your smoking needs. Stock your dispensary or smoke shop with reasonably priced glass from Green Monster Glass. Green Monster Glass is locally owned and operated. Find us on Facebook or call Daryl at 719-217-5380. That's 719-217-5380. The
Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Interested in the amazing benefits of CBD? Check out Dixie X Hemp CBD Wellness Products at www.dixiex.com.
Friday, October 26th from 5:30 to 10 p.m., Green Faith Ministries presents Cannabis Kills Cancer, a film exhibition that changes everything, with special guests Dr. Bob Melamede from Cannabis Science, Todd McCormick, cannabis activist and author, and Kyle Marsh, director of Vitamin Cannabis. Hosted by Marmalade at Smoke Brush, 219 West Colorado Avenue, Suite 210, Colorado Springs, Colorado.